so cold. Okay, so our guest now, Michelle McIntosh-Harvey, had her heart stolen by 3-year-old Omar. Michelle is here this morning to talk to us about being an adoptive parent. I believe that's what you call it. Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Hey, Michelle.
Good morning, Simone. Good morning, Neville.
I see
I'm
that
fine.
big smile on your face when I mentioned that young man. First of all, let's talk a little bit about the adoptive process is difficult. I've had friends who have tried for years and years and years and never managed to get through with it, but you've done it. So were you in foster parenting before? Or tell us the circumstances that led you here.
All right. Morning again. I'm a member of the Lions Club of Kingston. And every Christmas, Easter, whatever it is, we normally take home a couple children, just to show them love and so on. And I usually have my children for about a week and things like that. So when I started working at the CDA, one of the managers who knows that I always take home a child said to me, Miss Mac, I have a perfect little boy for you, And I kind of hesitated, and she said, no, Miss Mac, just take him home and see how it works out, with the usual Christmas take home. So I said, all right, let me do that. And so he came. And as I, love to tell people, he came, he saw, and he conquered. Because one look at Omar, and that was it.
Where did this come from, though, the taking home in the first place? I mean, lots of us would want to do wonderful things and we don't get around doing it for whatever reason. So where did that come from that you wanted to share your family and your food and your house with people that you don't know? Where did that come from?
I think it might be how I grew up, because my parents always assisted children. Anybody who needed help with their child was always here. I think even my brother would complain because his room was always the one where somebody's child, somebody would end up in. So it was just natural. And then my sister and brother, as I mentioned, their children. I always used to tell people I have 6 children, although they're not biological, because they are my children. I love them dearly. And so it was just natural that once I was in the Lions Club, I gravitated to the youth part of the service. And so I would work with the children at Walker's Place of Safety. And I also would do other service with children. Because, I don't know, that is just part of me. I just love children. I love my friends' children, so it's just part of me.
So Omar came into your life. He became your handbag. You took him everywhere with you. And apparently when people see you, they don't know that you're not his biological mother because, as fate would have it, you look alike.
Exactly. Because if I don't tell somebody, or if it's not my close friend who knew, they just thought that, he was my biological child. There's actually a small picture of him.
Oh my gosh.
That he looks just like my sister's son.
Yeah.
And I said, God doesn't do anything wrong. Yeah. And in this case, I can see that God made that placement.
Was there any part of this journey that you said, I wonder why we do this? So what we do? Or was there any part of the journey that you said, maybe I shouldn't? Or no?
No, well, what I would say is sometimes I have to look back and I say, did I do him a disservice? Because no, he doesn't have any siblings his age. All his cousins are all adults. And so he's growing up in a house basically with just adults. At first it was just myself and the helper, so it's just women. So sometimes I would wonder if I did him a disservice in that way. But I have some close friends who have boys his age. And so again, I used to pack up the car with a lot of them because I had a 7-seater. And I'd take all of them fishing or whatever. And so at least he would have those friends, that camaraderie. There are 2 of them that he actually calls his brothers, and they just love each other. And so that would be the only part that I would have said, would be a question in my mind. But
So,
other than that, I think he would be okay. I also was very pointed also in choosing his godparents, because because it's just women, I specifically asked two of my nephews who are adults now, big men, if they would be his godparents, because I knew that I would need that male intervention. I would need that male influence in his life. And so I did prime them from them and say, when the hard questions come that I can't answer as a woman, I'd need them to do it, you know.
the 12 years later,
12
no,
years later.
no regrets. Omar is
No
heading to
regrets.
big manship.
Tell me about it.
I know. Well, tell us about him. We want to know more about him. You say he's adventurous. He keeps you on your toes. Share with us about
Yes.
this lovely young man.
All right. Well, when he was younger, I used to put it on Facebook. So my friends call it the Omar Chronicles, because you never know what he would get up to. I would wake up one day or go outside, and he has dug a trench so deep in the backyard, saying he's building a castle. Or, you know, you just never know. And then he will make things. He used to love to make things. So he would sit with paper and make these paper men. And he does everything with his hands, which again is similar to me in that people know that I do things with my hands. I sew, I do, create things.
Yeah.
And he is like that as well. So all of these things just make it almost like a perfect match.
Yeah. Does he
with my
know?
land,
Does he know that he's adopted? And if so, when did
Yes.
you tell him, and how did he respond to that?
All right. At first, it was a helper who actually told him. And she did more damage than good, because he was still too young. And she went and told him that I took him to make him better. And that thing depressed the young man so badly. I had to spend months basically speaking with him, showing him that I love him and that's why he's with me. I had to explain to him from then that he has two mothers, one who actually carried him in her belly, and me, who we know, if he remembers when we went for the courts, I went to go through all of that. So over time, he has learned that he is adopted. He has also learned, I've spoken with him, I don't know his biological mother. I've also told him that at 18, if he so desires, he can go to the CDA, have his file open, that he can know. So he is well aware. So even when I told him about the program and that we were in the papers and so on, he just looked at me and said, "Shut, mommy, that's just boring."
Yeah, typical 15-year-old, right?
Yes,
So
that's
then,
boring.
Michelle, for folks who are watching this who, they want to foster, they want to adopt, but they may be a little hesitant or apprehensive, even scared, what would your message be to those parents, want to be potential parents actually this morning?
All right, I'm going to speak to them frankly. You have to have that love in your heart. Don't worry about finances. I know it is important that you would want to have the money, but most of the most successful placings, because again, I work with CDA, and the successful placings, the parents are not wealthy, but they have that heart to open their home and just love that child for who that child is. What we have to understand that each child is an individual. When you birth your own child, you really don't even know how that child is going to be, how that child is going to turn out. So you just have to learn and work with that particular child. So I would say to you, if you have that love that you want to share with the child, because we can see where it makes a difference. I can see where it makes a difference.
Yeah.
That the child then becomes so connected to you, and you connect to the child in such a way that the love is just mutual. So open your heart and just love a child, and that's what I would say.
Michelle, you're so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. You're one of the people that's good about Jamaica.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure if Omar had an opportunity, we'd want to tell the whole world, thank you
And
for
he would
what
have
you have
chosen
done
you
for him.
from the
Yeah,
start.
man. God bless you. Look
Give
after
him
yourself.
our love, Miss
Yeah,
Mish,
man.
please.
Fill him for us. Fill him
I
up for us.
certainly will.
Although he
And
probably
thank
said
you.
they're boring,
Yeah,
so.
man. Take care.
Yes,
Michelle
it's going to say
McIntosh-Harvey
that.
sharing our story with us this morning. That's it for today's Child Month feature. Soon come. Folks, we explore the shift from cultural capital to